Well, hello and welcome to our Subconscious Speaks. I'm Don Robert, and this is my partner, Tina
Tina
Orlando.
Orlando.
Together, we are Tina, Orlando, and Don.
Mhm. We enjoy that one.
And we sure do. We've been joking about that for
Mhm.
about 5 years now. But
It's true.
if you don't know, just Google Tony Orlando and Dawn, Dawn. The joke is that people have called me Dawn before, which is just hilarious to me. But by the way, we're both award-winning clinical hypnotherapists and honors graduates from the Hypnosis Motivation Institute here in Tarzana, California. You can look them up online, really easy, hmi.edu.
Nice plug.
And,
We
huh?
like them. I said,
You,
nice plug for HMI. We like them.
well, you would almost think that they're a sponsor, but I haven't approached them about that just yet. They did recently ask for permission to use my likeness and image in their advertising, so
I
I'll put
know.
that on our podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So today, appreciate you coming back. We're going to talk about demystifying hypnosis and the
Mm.
controversy that comes with that. And Tina's going to take lead, as I had mentioned before. The way that we've been talking to each other offline for 4.5 years is like I'll call with the topic, and then that'll lead to an hour and a half or two conversation. She'll call and say, "Hey, what about like?" So we just want to bounce off of each other. That's what we do best.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and so we're going to be discussing all things conscious and subconscious and anything in
Mhm.
between. It's all fair game. So we invite you to come hang out. New episodes will drop on Mondays.
Yes.
So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more. And so
Yes.
now, Tina, in the spirit of demystifying hypnosis and the controversy, lead us off. What do you got?
Okay. So everyone is afraid. So when we hear the word hypnosis, we have a negative connotation with it. Oh no, right? Exactly. There's that negative connotation. Now we can discuss for hours of where it came from. It really doesn't matter where it came from, but we all go right to what the media says, and it's get out. It's
What is Get
mind
Out,
control.
Tina? Because
Get
not
out the
everybody, I don't,
movie. Oh
yeah,
well,
because I
okay. So
tell
the
my
movie,
clients about Get Out, and some of them immediately know what it is, and others are like,
huh? What is that? Oh, it's a great movie, but
it,
it's another horrible depiction of hypnosis. And we're not just talking about hypnosis, we're talking about hypnotherapy. So there is a difference. So we need to kind of break it down for everybody, right? Because what we do is not a stage act,
that's right.
right? So we're not going to make you walk like a chicken, quack like a duck, give us all your money. That's not what we do. We do not do those things.
But
However,
wait, there's no mind control involved?
no, actually, there is no
You're
mind
not
control.
hypnotizing me into some trance to the
No,
ATM machine?
no, no. If that was the case, would we be sitting here talking?
Hell no, man. We'll be
I'd
on
be
a
on a
boat in
beach
like the island somewhere.
somewhere, right? So, I mean, let's just go with facts. If that was true,
Right.
it would be the number one job on the planet, right? And
Yeah,
I think we would have some vigilante people out there.
certainly.
Um,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we could take this in many different directions, but the idea is we're not a stage show. Hypnotherapy is not the stage show. We don't do those things. We're here to help. We're here to serve. Here to, motivate and inspire, create a better life, a better way. These are the things that we do as hypnotherapists, correct?
Clinical
Yeah,
hypnotherapist. I've really, since we
clinically.
both have completed that second year in mind body psychology, I've
Yeah,
really I've made a conscious effort to say
right.
that because it instantly separates
Cut
us
through.
from the stage act of
Hmm.
hypnotists and the Get Out mind
Right.
control, which is, yeah, it's a clinical setting that we're working in.
Well, here's the controversy, right?
Oh,
The
please do.
controversy. Well, there is
Hang
the
on, I got to give a
controversy.
plug to Prince. Controversy. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Big. I think you're over there. I keep messing this up, but
I
huge
think
Prince fan.
huge.
Huge.
I have to go shopping now. So, um, what was I saying? Controversy
Controversy.
of,
The huge
oh,
controversy.
yes, the huge controversy of hypnosis is the idea of mind control, which then is going to lead people and conspiracy theorists and realists
Mhm.
um, to MK Ultra and that whole realm of things. That again is not what a clinical hypnotherapist does. I'm not here to say yes, it happens, no, it happens when it comes to all that other controversy. But as clinical hypnotherapists, that is not what we do. We are ethical. We are driven by a moral compass, hopefully, that we all have intact, and your own desires, wants, and needs of furthering your life and improving it. That is what we do as hypnotherapists, clinical hypnotherapists. Um, so that takes some of the controversy out. What do you think, Don? What do you run
You know,
into the most?
I've learned to be a great note taker,
Mm-hmm.
especially with my clients because I'm of the physical type as far as suggestibility and sexuality, and so I just can't wait to jump in with my thoughts. So I've
I
had to
know.
learn a different way, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of tap into the emo in me, the inferred person that can pause and listen, because what's happening is the client's not feeling seen or heard.
Right.
And so, if you watched the episode about suggestibility, right, there's those questions, and one of them is, not only leading up all the details to the subject so the other person can understand it completely, but then also you're barely listening because you're so excited to come up with your side that you don't even really hear what the other person said. And that's horrible. It's the worst thing you can do. It's the complete opposite of being an effective communicator. And we are effective communicators when we're working with people to help them, because what they
Mm-hmm.
tell us in the cognitive portion, this would be considered cognitive, is that which we will help them in the hypnotic portion. At least
Mm-hmm.
that's what I think. And so I wrote down moral compass because you said that last time as well. And I want to just kind of tap into that. I believe, this is my beliefs, I believe we all have a moral compass. Some of us, unfortunately, it's covered in soot,
Mm-hmm.
wet, moldy blankets, shadows, and the like. And so it's hard to operate from a place of a healthy moral compass when you haven't done the work. And
Mm-hmm.
so many, if not, I want your opinion on this. I would bet that all hypnotherapists have done the work on themselves first before then entering into a therapeutic alliance in a clinical manner. What do you think about that?
I think it's accurate, and I'll tell you why. Because, like I said a couple of years ago, isn't it interesting that we get into this, hypnotherapy as a reason we want to help people? And what we ultimately learn that first year is more about ourselves.
Mm,
That is the byproduct of everything we were learning, that we had to learn more about ourselves so that then we could help other people. And it is the most fascinating thing that I walked away from that first year was like, oh, I really wanted to help people, but I actually learned more about me,
yeah.
which then in turn allows you to be open and learn and grow and be an effective participant in somebody else's journey, I think.
Hmm.
um, as far as, but really quick though, you said something about suggestibility and sexuality and, all of that. We're going to get into that
I mean, that's
later.
a whole episode on its own.
I was getting ready to say that's a whole episode. So if you
Yeah.
don't know what that is and you're just chiming in, hang
Hmm.
tight. We're going to get
Yeah.
to all the good
Yeah.
stuff. But back to what we were saying, the controversy
Yeah.
um, of, hypnosis and hypnotherapy. The question is kind of, what do you think they're afraid of most? I know what my opinion is, but what do you think people are most afraid of outside of the mind control? If we can narrow that down and chunk it down to one or two things, what do you think that is?
Fantastic
And
question. And I've been seeing a lot of new clients lately, and so I explain a lot of this, and I feel like the answer is quite simple. It's the fear of the unknown. They just don't know what to expect because all they have for frames of references are the stage act because they went to a bar or they're on a cruise and they saw somebody get up on stage and feel so hot they took their top off and ran around the stage, like, or do a hula hoop, or like whatever, right?
Right.
So that's like the first thing. And then of course those that have seen the movie Get Out, and we keep talking about that because it's the most significant, impactful, popular movie as most
Correct.
recent within the last
Hmm.
5 years that is really
Hmm.
scary.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it's that they're afraid of the unknown. Here's the good news that I'm noticing, right? So I work with people and we find each other online, and because I'm online, people are already researching what it is and isn't.
Hmm.
So if you found your way to this podcast because you've been interested about hypnosis and hypnotherapy, God bless you, because now you can have some information about what it
Hmm.
really is and isn't. And if
Right.
you didn't watch episodes 1 and 2, please go back. I mean, you can, the Olympics was just like one of our passions because we both fell in love with the Olympics and all the superstars. But you know, the
There's
Why
some
Us
information there,
episode, good
though.
information. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
absolutely worth a watch. That's for sure, or a
absolutely.
listen, depending on where you are. We're streaming everywhere. So yeah, I think it's about fear. I think you're absolutely right. And we're typically the last house on the block, right? They've tried talk
Unfortunately.
therapy, they've tried maybe EMDR, they tried. And the self-help books, like all the things that you would think would work. But helping yourself is difficult.
Hmm.
Because if people could help themselves without the help of a professional, they would.
All right. Right. I think the other component is loss of control. They're afraid of losing control. They're afraid that somebody somehow, because they're in an altered state, that they're going to have no say over what is happening. They have the fear of someone is controlling them. And these are things that are simply not true. It would take a lot of effort to create that environment. Um, because there are the conspiracy theorists, the realists that have a theory on this. Um, and that theory is accurate for them. But right now, we're talking about clinical hypnotherapy, and we don't do that. We don't mind control, and that's just not a reality. The reality is the reason why they think that is loss of control, fear
Mhm.
of losing control. Let me skip ahead here. We're not in control. This on this rock, we are not really in control, but it's okay because we have faith, right? So a little bit of more controversy there for you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said the word control because that's really one of the biggest fears, I think. So it's easy to say, oh, people are afraid of the unknown, afraid of what? But it's really
Mhm.
about control. And one of the things that I do talk about is that you're in complete control. I've had clients halfway through the session get up and answer the front door, come back and take a big deep breath and go right back into that deep, relaxed state
Absolutely,
because
absolutely.
you're completely aware of your surroundings. You're not some sort of
Mhm.
zombie, right?
No,
You
no, yeah,
have complete control over yourself, your faculties, and your mind. So
absolutely. You're actually in more control than you actually started with.
yeah, I think we said it. One of us said it. It's this deep, relaxed state of being focused.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That is the best description that I have,
it really is. And I think that's
sort
pretty
of come up.
universally accepted from anyone talking about hypnotherapy that has some sort of training and has been
Mhm.
educated on it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Do you think there's any other weird fears? Like, I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to Google it and they're going to come up with, the hypnophobia and why they're scared, they're frightened of losing control and la 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 la. Do you think that there's any other component that they need to kind of wrestle with before they make that call?
In regards to being hypnotized or working with a hypnotherapist, it then sometimes ducktails over to like, why would I even trust you? What are your credentials? How do
Yeah.
I know that you know what you're doing? Because
Hmm.
and no shade on the weekend warriors out there, really, truly, right? If you're helping people, God bless. But um, it takes a little longer than 72 hours to digest what we have been educated on. And so
Absolutely.
I think that the credentials, and I'm not just talking about the initials after our name, but that indicates that we've spent some time and money educating ourselves on these topics that we speak of and help people with. So I think that's
Absolutely.
that helps kind of demystify the whole like, oh,
Thanks,
yeah,
Freud.
yeah.
I mean, this is a, do you know where this uh, lack came from? Because this is what it is. It's that, the idea that hypnosis is quote unquote scary and bad. Do you know where that actually came from?
You're going to tell me. I know it's a rhetorical question you're asking. You're not asking me specifically, but I do have an opinion of it.
I want
It's
your opinion. Go for it.
it's
Because I'm
it's
thinking it's
it's
probably the same.
it's movies and television and stage, man. It's the perceived. Okay, real story. Tina and I are at what was the bowl again? Not the. I always want to say the Orange Bowl.
Oh, Rose Bowl. Rose Bowl,
Rose
right?
Bowl. So we're finally seeing Coldplay in the Rose
Yes.
Bowl, and we
Yes.
we connect with these other Gen Z or Gen Xers on the floor, and we kind of form this little circle. There's like six of them or so. They're all couples, and we appear to be a couple because we're together, and
Besties.
they're doing introductions, and the funny guy out of their group is like, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a hypnotherapist. He's like, oh, you're gonna make me cluck like a quack like a duck. And I was like, well, not for free. Because, Mad
Only if we don't
Magazine,
like you.
happy answers to stupid questions.
Right. I mean, yours is not for free, and mine's like only if I don't like you.
You know what it is? I just had a moment. I believe it's like they don't know. And so they make light of it because
Right.
they don't understand it. And
They're afraid.
anything that you don't understand, you're going to be no, I wouldn't go try and change my catalytic converter myself. I'd be scared shitless to crawl under my car and do that. I'm not trained on that.
Hmm. So,
So,
yes, people are afraid of things they don't know,
mhm.
right? Um, Besides it being control, I think that we are the last stop on the block. There might be a reason for that one. Um, but here we are now in this time, and um I think that we need to really start paying attention to what we actually know. And what we actually know is that we have a lot of the answers ourselves. We just can't access them. And that is most important, right? Because then that's where the hypnosis comes from. Um, but I also think, in my humble opinion, that people are afraid of hypnosis because they do know some things about it. I've had clients and conversations with people where they do actually know stuff, but they're still terrified. And for me, that kind of gives me the idea that whatever they're doing is serving them, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Made
And
it this far. Yeah.
they're not really ready to kind of peel back the onion, as we like to say, and kind of see the truth of themselves, not whether hypnotherapy works, doesn't work, therapy, CBT, whatever. I think what they're doing is serving them and their ego's involved. So I think that allows them to then kind of, no, they're afraid of hypnosis, and then they further that discussion. So some of it's, on you. Like, you got to do your own work.
I want to comment on something you said about we know, right? And it made me think of two things, the thing that I wrote down, and then it made me think of like our tagline is our subconscious speaks. The question is, are you
I'm
listening?
listening.
Right?
Huh.
Because these deep-seated beliefs that we have are in our subconscious. I call them the autoresponders to life, right? When
Hmm.
something comes up and you react a certain way all the time, that's because something happened, whether it was from, when you're born to 8 or 10 years old, or the next phase of your development, your young adulthood. It's not
The pattern stuck.
exclusive to our upbringing.
No,
Most of
but
it
the
is,
pattern gets stuck. Right.
but it's those deep-seated beliefs that it takes a significant amount of desire to then knock on the door of the last house on the block called hypnosis and hypnotherapy because you've heard it works.
Right.
That's
The
the
witch's
other thing
house.
that is out
That
there, is that it works.
it works. There are a number of studies that we will get into at a future date. Um, that are success stories. There are huge success stories. I can go off the top of my head, but we had that really good conversation about the Olympics and them telling themselves, I got this. I got this. Um, that's a form of hypnosis. They got that out of hypnosis. So, so that's that.
All
Do we
right.
do we have more controversy involved in this?
I mean, we could dig, certainly. I
Well,
think
we'll
for
continue
the
to dig as
purpose,
we go along.
yeah. I
Mhm.
think we've done a pretty good job demystifying.
Okay. So if you're going to get a hypnotherapist, what do you think it's most important for people to know about a clinical hypnotherapist? Um, and how would they get, a good one, a good one, a really good one? What are some of the qualifications, Don?
I love that. A good one, right? So,
A good
yeah,
one.
I was doing some coaching the other day about success. And the reality is that what I think success is and what you think success is two things. So, what's a good one is relative to the person. Okay. If I'm a
Mm-hmm.
smoker and I want to quit smoking, and I
Mm-hmm.
heard that hypnosis has a high degree of success, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
go find me a hypnotherapist that can help me quit smoking because I'm dying, right? And
And what
so
do you think is a mark of a really good one now? Like,
someone that has been accredited, that someone
mm-hmm.
that has been certified, and someone that has the training and success, meaning people have quit because of the work that you've done with them in a hypnotherapy session.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's nothing better than experience, right? Experience is a great teacher. And we've all gone through experiences, and that's, I think, what we kind of pull towards ourselves as hypnotherapists. We oddly attract the things that we are good at. And as I'm saying it, I'm thinking about some of my clients, and I'm shaking my head no. And, you know, because what we're good at, so we draw those things to us. So, what do you think is really, besides all those things, what makes it good? What makes a good hypnotherapist? I say it's life experience. What do you think it is?
I would agree because as you're talking, I'm trying to think, well, why do I think I'm a good hypnotherapist? And it's because of, I've been in a 12-step program for 30 years. I've worked
Right.
with countless others. I've been helping people kind of have their own breakthroughs and breaking free from the shackles of self for a long
Mm-hmm.
time. And I kind of created this natural therapeutic approach. Yes, I was
Mm-hmm.
studying psychology in college before I moved to Hollywood to try and make it as an actor. No, don't even bother Googling me. My IMDb doesn't even have a picture. But it's like this desire to be of service, to be of love and service has been ingrained in me. And then now, so you've got that as my foundation, life
Mm-hmm.
experience, right? My own issues that I've faced and worked through. I've done the work, and I've done work outside of 12-step programs. I've been in tents doing sweat lodges. I've been on vision quests. I've been to church. I've been everywhere looking inside to try and find what it is. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
work through it so I can get on the other side of it. And then now I've got all of that I can offer you, the person that
Correct.
is in my Zoom room coming to me for X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you layer on top of that the experience that we had with HMI, right? So HMI is a
Mm-hmm.
12-month program. First half is intensive schoolwork, Second half, you still have school, but you're now seeing pro bono clients under their supervision and
Absolutely.
guidance, right?
Hmm.
Where you're now getting used to helping people and what that feels like and how to approach it, and all the tools that they've taught us, we're now putting into action. And so you and I have had significant experience coming out of COVID doing that, seeing as many people as we have. We've kind of developed like our own programs of how to help people.
Right.
So you're
Right.
absolutely right. Experience is absolutely key. Experience with knowledge, and then the
Absolutely.
ability to put that into action to help others. Great
Absolutely.
question. What do you think?
What do I think? Well, I don't even remember my question at this point. I'm actually
What
kidding.
makes a good hypnotherapist?
You can remember your question.
It was your question.
I know. That's what I'm answering you. That's what makes it. Now you can remember your questions. Um, I think first, I agree with everything you said. Like I can mirror all those things. Something that I think is most important is desire. Desire to help people. I know you look at you, you want to say something, and I adore you for it.
I didn't though, did I?
No, you're doing so good. Desire, like desire just
Whose
drives
desire? Sorry, I'm gonna say it.
my desire,
Your
the
desire.
client's desire. You know, they have their own desire going on, but I have a desire to not let anybody flounder the way I floundered from my own experiences. And that's what propelled me to really push to do this. So I have this desire to always be of service and help. And I just cannot stand to see people suffer. And if I can do anything to alleviate suffering,
Mhm.
because I have suffered, and I know what that darkness is, um, I will do everything in my power to do it. And that's what I set out to do when when I went to school at the illustrious HMI. Um, and I found out that I was still growing and changing and learning so many things about myself. But here's the thing that amazed me about that whole experience was the changes were just so fast and unbelievably easy. And it's like that's it. That was the moment where I was like, oh, that's it. I can do this, and I can help other people, and because then you don't have to suffer. Like, so that desire really became the driving force for me. And I think that when you say things like that to your clients and people, they have no choice but kind of connect,
Yeah,
and then you can really build that safety net of rapport. And that to me is so important, because you can have all the credentials and still not be able to pull it off. So you need all the components. It's experience, it's desire, it's all of them. So that's my
100%. Uh,
answer.
yeah, I wanted to add another word to desire, intent, right?
Yeah.
I'm all about
Mhm.
intention. So my intention is to
Absolutely.
be of love and service. And I
Right.
know that's an odd word to throw around in a therapeutic setting like that, but I love my clients.
Yeah. Oh God, I adore mine.
Yeah.
I adore
Yeah.
all my clients. I think
It's one of the
they're
benefits
fabulous.
of not having to be governed by the capital T therapy.
Yes. The big T,
We get a little leeway. We get a little
we do.
leeway, right?
We do. We have a little room to spread our wings, and you
Well
know,
within our
that
swim
doesn't
lane, but
absolutely, that doesn't mean that we're not worth it working within an ethical space, because
that's right.
we are actually held to those same ethics. We just have a little more freedom. I mean, it's kind of, it's kind of, I think it's wonderful. I love my clients. They're I'm their, you know, their biggest cheerleader, their fan. Like, I want to make it better for them. Um, so what do you think, that kind of leads me to my next question here?
Yeah.
Um, what do you think are the differences between traditional therapy and hypnotherapy?
All right.
I do have
Talk
a
about
follow-up
controversy.
question.
We're going there, huh? Oh
We're
boy.
going. It's
Woo!
controversy. I mean, we can paint
Oh,
the town purple if you want.
yeah. Whew.
Don't
So,
be afraid.
I have benefited from talk therapy.
Sure, we all have
which would be, I'm gonna, unfortunately for any of the PhDs that are listening, or the LMFTs, like I'm putting you all in one bucket and calling you talk therapy, right? Like our Lord and
that's what you do with
Savior
them.
Sigmund Freud, right? Not mine, but he is definitely a pioneer, that's for sure. But
Rightfully so.
there's something about, right, it's still back to the title of our podcast, right? Our subconscious speaks. Are we listening? Because my subconscious is what's running the show. Okay, I
Absolutely.
think one of the episodes we should do is talking about what Dr. Kappas, Dr. John Kappas, who started the school like 58 years ago with his brother Alex, came up with something he called the theory of mind. And he says that the brain is separated by 12% conscious thoughts and 88% subconscious. I round up to 90-10,
Yes,
and
yes. Same,
the
same.
90 runs the show. That's the challenge with, I'm not going to throw shade at talk therapy, because like I said, I saw a therapist when I was in Seattle before I moved back to LA, and it absolutely helped me shift in an area of my personal life that I couldn't see on my own. So it's absolutely useful, 100%. The difference for
So,
me, and let me finish. The difference between with that and because you asked, and that and hypnosis and hypnotherapy, is that we can help you rearrange and reframe your deep-seated beliefs about X.
mhm.
Oh, I've always smoked. It's just, and I'm sorry I'm harping on smoking because I'm just getting a lot of smokers lately. It's like, oh, it's just, I've been smoking 2 packs of Marlboro Red 100s for 40 years.
Mhm.
Are you ready to end that story?
Right. Want to change the story
First things
around?
I ask, like, are you done?
Right.
Well, my
Because you have to be
doctor's,
done.
I didn't ask you about your doctor.
Right, right, right.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Um, yeah. Um, I don't mind being the last house on the block, because it's a process like life, right? My problem with it is, do not discount it. So I love talk therapy. We all need somebody to talk to, whether they have credentials and initials after their name, or they're your, you know, they're a priest or your best friend, or a bishop. I don't care. We all need to talk. We need to communicate. We need those things. My problem with it is, there is plenty of room for all of us. And whether, it's, so I don't mind being the last stop. It makes me sad that we are the last stop, because if we came, in the middle of the block, maybe, we could save some heartache, down the road, but it's okay. It's all right. Um, so I think that, the being, we need, we need to all just respect each other, because there are so many success stories. There is a thing called medical hypnotherapy that they use specifically pre-surgery, post-surgery, where success rates are higher. You can Google this yourself. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Really great, open-minded, doctors and learners and whatever you want to call them, surgeons, and um, they require some of their patients to go through pre-surgery hypnosis and post-surgery hypnosis. It's fascinating, their success rate of healing. Like, these aren't my facts, you can Google them. I think that doctors that do this are really way ahead of this antiquated thought that we're, uh, the stepchild or wild child or the
The
black
lower
sheep.
T compared to their capital T. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I'm sure, it's funny because I'm sure that's how, it's been for years for many therapists, psychotherapists. Some are capital T's and some are lowercase t's. That's fine. Because here we're all in it to help people. That's how we do it. So, you know, I'm cool with that. Um,
So I
yes,
have
you want to say
comments.
something?
Yeah.
I know you do.
So, you know, I had a thought like this whole last house on the block, and you know, it'd be nice if we were here or that. Like, dude, we're in the block. We're in the block. We're in the
We're
cul-de-sac, which
on the
could be
block.
considered the end, but the cul-de-sac is where the cool people live, right? So
Right,
I'm
right.
grateful to
We're the
be
cool.
on the road. We're in the neighborhood. Like, come see
Absolutely.
us. Come
Right,
hang.
right.
Um, and then the irony is that kind of like my last name, I pronounce Robert because I'm French Canadian, but like in hockey, we sorry Canadian people, but we just despise the Canadian teams because they come into Florida and they're loud and obnoxious, and it's just hilarious to me. So we talk at least half of the time in our sessions. So it's not
Hmm.
like, you know, you come in and we're like, you're asleep. Here we go, magic time, right? Fairy dust comes
Right,
over your head and off you go.
right,
We're
right.
talking for at
Mhm.
least half of the session,
At least.
at
Mhm,
least. So I want to
mhm,
mention that, and then we've made reference to the second year at HMI. It's occupational studies in mind body psychology, and all of the instructors have those wonderful PhD initials after their last name, which is super impressive. They're the most intelligent, bright, well-spoken, and incredibly gracious with their knowledge instructors that I've ever sat in front of, even at a
mhm.
major university. So when I was studying psychology, we had one of them this last week admit that we're teaching you things that aren't even being taught in colleges yet.
That's correct.
Yeah. But what I really
Mhm.
wanted to mention is I have a dear friend that I've known for a long time who is a PhD, and she had asked me to work with a friend as a hypnotherapist because she, you know, she knew I was, and I ironically I went to her website to see her credentials, and she lists imagery as one of her modalities. What
Oh,
is that? Right. So
what is
more and
imagery, right?
more imagery is visualize, imagine, or picture in your mind's eye a
Right.
beautiful stream. And that stream has this
Mm,
kind of babbling brook, and it's just light and
hmm.
just feels that's imagery. Right. And
Right.
so that is, I don't want to speak for you, but I will tell you that the imagery course that we both graduated, we're both masters of imagery. I use imagery in every single, even with the smokers, ton of imagery in every session. It is so
Hey,
powerful. So the fact that doctors are using it, we're not the last house on the block. We just are
no, we're not.
perceived as that because it's like, well, I've tried everything else. I might as well try this hypnosis thing.
Right, right, right. I wonder, speaking of imagery, there is a reigning queen of imagery. I wonder if
Plug
she would come and
away.
talk to us. The
Huh?
reigning queen of imagery. I wonder if she would come and talk to us,
Ooh, there's an
Cheryl
episode.
O'Neill.
Ooh. And then maybe if there is somebody that we know and love that loves us, that leads the NLP course.
We could probably get him to talk too.
Think we need to ease
He's
into this because our listeners, like, we need them to kind of put their minds back together before they get blown again.
blown away.
Because
I
these
think we
people
could
are,
do a few
yeah.
special things. Um, but definitely, there's lots to come. So everybody needs to, hit the subscribe button, the follow button,
What
hit the
what
like
a
button.
novel idea.
That
I love
that way
that.
we can
Nice
keep
close,
going.
Tina. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know, the spirit of this is we're trying to keep it between 30 and 45 minutes. I think we're coming right up against, I think we're maybe just north of 40. So
that's okay. So I did hear from quite a few people that were like, I wanted to listen to more. How, are you guys going to have more episodes? And a few other questions were, why do you don't have to cut it off. I'm still driving home from work. And I said, well, there are moments that we will go a little bit longer. It depends. So, we're not super strict. We're just trying to be, in a uniform. Um, a therapeutic hour is 50 minutes. So I'm just saying,
targets. Yeah.
yeah,
But
target.
I think we've addressed that which we wanted to address today, in this
Absolutely.
kind of demystifying and facing head on the controversy that's out there. We're not, you know, doing the old head in the sand technique over here. We're aware of it.
No,
We speak to it. It's taught. in our school
Mhm.
on how to handle this, because it
Absolutely.
is now, I will say, in my personal opinion, it's gotten better public eye wise because of the super highway called the internet,
Yes.
which has
But
been
speaking
around
of
for a
the
while, obviously.
superhighway,
Yeah.
if they have questions, we are always available to answer them.
100%. Yes. If you go to our YouTube channel, our Subconscious Speaks, you have contact information there. You can comment and ask questions. We're both monitoring that account.
Absolutely.
So yeah, good call out, Tina. Yeah, fire
Yeah,
away. We'll
absolutely.
take it. Absolutely. So
Absolutely. We're up for the questions. All we ask is, remain respectful, but we will
yeah.
definitely answer all the questions. I think we're open, we're available, we're attainable. So
And if there's a topic that's kind of ruminating in your mind after we've talked about something, for
yeah,
example, I really tapped into this theme of greatness, watching these incredible. I missed the Olympics so much. I went on to the NBC
everybody's good.
Peacock and I'm rewatching like highlights. I'm watching the Saturday Night Live skits that have had past Olympic skits.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely comment on a video, send us an email, our subconscious speaks at gmail.com, and say, hey,
Mhm.
I appreciate that you talked about greatness. Can we talk about that? Because I feel like I have greatness
But
in me. I just can't get it out.
true,
Yeah.
true.
Imagine that.
Absolutely. We all have
Guess what
greatness.
that is? Deep-seated belief.
Absolutely. Belief patterns,
All
things we
right.
were told and taught a long time ago, which we will cover at some other future date.
Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Absolutely. Love the company,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So again, just to remind you, episodes are going to drop weekly, doing them over the weekend and putting them out on Mondays. All that we ask is that you feel free to interact, ask questions, whatever. We're here for you. And if you could follow, subscribe to our channels, we'd appreciate it. So we are on Spotify, working on Apple tomorrow. I'll have that up. And of course, good old YouTube. So thank you,
Absolutely.
Tina. I'm
Thanks,
Dawn.
John.
Together, we're Tina Orlando and Dawn. Just do yourself a favor.
Absolutely.
Google that so you can get in on the joke.
Absolutely. Got to get on another joke. Absolutely.
All right. I love you.
Love you, buddy.
Bye, everybody.